Web 2.0 sort of came from an academic setting, and it was used to describe the transition from what the internet was as it first came out and was introduced and became popular to the direction that it's moving in. And the defining difference between them two is the difference between a static versus a more dynamic web platform.
The web, as people experienced it a few years ago, was sort of a Microsoft Office a desktop application sort of world. Everything that you did, most of the time you spent on your computer was using applications on your desktop. Today, when people all of those applications and types of formats are things now that you can find online, and the actual program that's driving that application is not on your computer, it's somewhere else on a server somewhere. Things like Gmail, Google Documents, YouTube, MySpace, sort of all of this time that people are spending on their computers is done with programs that are not actually on their computer.
Initially, the web was static, and it was a way for people to publish information. Now the web is dynamic, and people are participating. You're also seeing communities being formed, such as MySpace, Facebook, LinkedIn, Driving Sales. These are all community sites where people with similar interests gather and communicate online.
The old way of doing things was you go in and you are taken through a certain process, and that is defined. Web 2.0 allows you to jump from one point to the other. Web 2.0 is more interactive. Web 2.0 means the old way was banners. So you went and bought banner ads on destination websites. Web 2.0 is you publish your affiliate program, and people no longer, have to buy. I don't have to sell my banner. I make my banner so valuable that New York Times wants to have my banner on their website. So I don't go and buy space from New York Times or whoever it is. They will take my banner because it's so valuable, and the code exists and the technology exists, and there's the commission junctions and the double clicks to facilitate that. That's Web 2.0. Web 2.0 is Wikipedia, where users generate content. You can go and add content online. Web 2.0 is again blogs, user-generated. So you can define user-generated content. Web 2.0 is again the old-fashioned way. Yahoo way was the paper impression. The way Google changed things, and actually Yahoo started it with Overture, the pay-per-click. So you no longer pay per impression, you pay per click. It's pay for performance, and then it starts getting more complicated beyond that. And that's just what it is. These are things which, if you sit back and look at it, you can figure out what's Web 2.0 and what's not.
Today, if you go to a website, a lot of the automotive websites, you have what we call a walled garden, which means you get information at that website that particular website produces. So if they've got data, if they've got stories, if they've got reviews, those are the stories and data and reviews that are produced by that website. If you look to the future and what MyRide is about, you're going to have reviews that are from consumers that come to MyRide. You're going to have reviews that are from our partners, which are major publishers and automotive publishers. You're going to have blogs that are from the internet. You're going to have other websites information, such as Kelley Blue Book or Edmunds or whoever. But we want to be able to give a jumping off platform to consumers where they can find all of the relevant information on whatever topic they want. So it doesn't become a walled garden, it becomes really sort of an open source for you to find everything that you need. Sort of the difference between going to a Delta Airlines site or going to Orbitz, where you can find, hey, here's all of the flights that are available. And that's really what the approach is. It's very open information, it allows consumers to participate in the process, and it's easy to use and it's fun.
I think today is that what we're looking at is that you've got a couple of generations out there that are creating their own content. When I first got involved with the internet, it was all being pushed this way, accepting information. Now, I could sit down here, record my voice, put myself on film, load it up on the internet, and broadcast that out to a select group or to the world. When you look at something like YouTube and MySpace and Facebook and all these others that are out there, now you've got these generations controlling the content of what they want to watch, but what they want to share.
That it's not just about getting, but it's also about giving and saying, hey, here's who I am. I'm out here, and I want to share with people what's important to me. So I might want to post a video on my vehicle, and especially, it used to be if you were a Corvette owner, you say, wow, I want to participate in Corvette, shows, and that was a specific particular type of person, right? Oh, a person that liked to participate in car shows. Well, now people that own Priuses want to participate in, Prius shows, and they want to participate in blogs on Priuses, or someone that owns a Kia Spectra, they say, you know what, I've fixed up my vehicle and I put a lot of cool accessories on there and I want to show it off. And one way is to show it off online and to share with other people who have an appreciation for what I'm doing, exactly what I'm doing. I think that creates a lot of energy on the web and is really what the Web 2.0 experience is about.
I think it's absolutely the next chapter. I think all we have to do is look at the impact of consumer-generated content and consumer-generated reviews in other verticals like travel, and it's real apparent where that's going to go as far as automotive. These sites will become very popular, these reviews will become very popular, and it will generally make or break not only the dealerships, but potentially some of the brands as well.
When we look at the web, I think a lot of times we get a little bit nervous because there's some technology that runs these things that we're unfamiliar with. It might not be, and it might not be within our realm of comfort. However, the principles that we as dealers have already mastered in our physical communities are the exact same principles that we must employ to really put our arms around the internet. It's nothing different than what we've already done. It's just sort of the playing field that you're on is a little bit different.
I've seen some dealers start to put commercials up on YouTube, and they try to make them engaging or entertaining because we've gone away from just a push of the impulse of music and flash and here it is a big splash. Now if I want to watch something on the computer, it's got to engage me. So that's being driven by a few people, but the kids today, I mean, the biggest tool that I'm seeing out there is their cell phone. When you really look at this, web-enabled cell phones that you can use the browser, push MMS, SMS, video, watch TV broadcasts. They're walking around with that in their hand right now.
They're going to have to do something called reputation management. They're going to have to spend more time looking at how their dealership or their business is interfacing with that type of community. For example, and I know you used this earlier on in our conversation this morning, was the fact that dealerships are typically really good at interfacing with their local communities at some level. For example, the church groups or the local baseball and sponsoring the baseball tournament in town or whatnot. But with these online communities today, these virtual communities that as you called them, having the dealership make sure that they're participating in those.
But anyone who's done any course in marketing will tell you that you need to be visible to the customer during the entire buying cycle. Not just at the point of sale, not just at the transaction point, not just when they're ready to buy. Now, with the online marketing that we do, we go in and create visibility for dealerships way before the person is even thinking of buying a car. So it's not that we are always, every time we go and do something online that it's going to generate a click. It might generate a click 3 months later. But unless, just what you said, I mean, we've got dealerships on MySpace. We've got dealerships in different networking sites. We have a page for the dealership, we have a page for the model, we talk about the store. That's the online community.
The community network is they're all avid car enthusiasts. So
Kind of like the wiki?
They have that, and yeah, it's like an extension of what our wiki is. They're avid car enthusiasts like our Green Hybrid site that all have things to say about their cars and have great passion in them. So in reality, they are a captive audience of individuals.
Another area where Web 2.0 might be interesting for a car dealer is we may want to, as dealers, publish some dynamic platforms of ourselves. Perhaps we may want to have a dealership blog. We might want to interact with our consumers. For example, if you have an accessories shop that's big in your dealership, you might want to do a video blog and post a 1-minute video walk around of all of the trucks that you lift, all of the cars that you lower. If you sponsor races, you can have a community race site that you sponsor, and maybe you have text links and you can bring it back to your dealership.
When you look at the consumers as a whole, about a third of them, 33% of them, are what Yahoo calls brand advocates. And what a brand advocate is, this is research of Yahoo's that I'm quoting now, What a brand advocate is somebody who is the type that does a tremendous amount of research on any subject, be it the latest electronic device or a vehicle. And these guys research to the nth degree. When they buy well, and then what they want to do is tell everybody they know about it. And these are also the folks that heavily influence other people, especially the folks that are within their own circle, their family, their friends. These folks are the ones who can drive consumers to a dealership. And so what dealers need to become aware of is that with these new types of communities, that these folks out there, a third of the market, are highly likely to influence their business. And so how do you determine if you have a brand advocate in front of you or not? Right now the technology is not completely there, but companies like Yahoo are working on that very thing, help their customers identify brand advocates. I think it's absolutely the next chapter. I think all we have to do is look at the impact of consumer-generated content and consumer-generated reviews in other verticals like travel, and it's real apparent where that's going to go as far as automotive. These sites will become very popular, these reviews will become very popular, and it will generally make or break not only the dealerships, but potentially some of the brands as well.
Dealerships are going to have to not just be advertising and buying leads from companies and third-party websites, but they're going to have to do something called reputation management. They're going to have to spend more time looking at how their dealership or their business is interfacing with that type of community. For example, and I know you used this earlier on in our conversation this morning, was the fact that dealerships are typically really good at interfacing with their local communities at some level. For example, the church groups or the local baseball and sponsoring the baseball tournament in town or whatnot. But with these online communities today, these virtual communities as you called them, having the dealership make sure that they're participating in those are going to become another tremendous amount of reasoning of why dealerships today have to be, like you said at the beginning of the question, interfacing with the internet today, and why it's even more compelling more than ever before, that they really need to start putting not just their financial resources and advertising dollars towards buying more leads, but understanding how all different aspects of their store needs to be integrated in whole different types of internet marketing activities and are much different than buying a lead or buying search for their website.
I've got a 14-and-a-half-year-old daughter that in 12 months or so is going to be driving a car, but she's already been influenced by the advertising, the branding from the OEMs as to what is a cool car. And the fact that she is now sharing that information with her peer group, the social networking that goes with that of, look at this great video, look at this great ad, here's this great music jingle. People need to be connecting to them now. So the internet's going through a very interesting period here right now, with YouTube, MySpace, Facebook. I mean, it's changed from where we had this one funnel of information going out. Now those people are actually providing their own content and pushing that out to their peer groups. And it's not just kids. I mean, we do it.
So right now it's very fragmented in the marketplace. Yahoo probably has the majority of market share right now in terms of having a pretty good footprint. Companies like Yelp and Judy's Book have a lot of breadth and depth, although not complete coverage. And then there's a number of other companies out there that are pulling reviews and that are working on putting more and more reviews further upline, which I think is all about dealers understanding that their online reputation is what is going to be one of the most important things that drives a consumer to this dealership or that dealership.
There's a whole host of ways that we dealers can leverage this emerging technology, and we just need to be sort of aware of what's happening and what changes are taking place, because right now is the time to get in while it's early and young, because the earlier that we position ourselves within this evolving community, the larger the benefits will be over time of our early involvement.